Anyway, we are back into the second part of the show, our big conversations inside Studio 899 this morning. And you know how 3 Music TV always wants to host Masterclass, especially it's solution-driven, it's informative, it's educative, because we want to understand ways in which we can solve some of the problems that happen in the industry than rather talking about the problem. Because the more we talk about it, the more we don't find ways to go around it, so that in the instance when it happens again, what do you do? Now, this morning's conversation or masterclass is centered on Olele, can you help me out with it? I want to find the best way to
public relations,
public
for
yes, so
creatives.
PR, yes, for PR for creatives,
yes.
And it's something that a lot of us might think there's no science to it. After all, when something happens, let me just go out there, put a presser there, and it's supposed to resolve the issue. No, but there are strategies, and there are how do I say it? There are ways to go around it that you need to understand and learn. And this morning, that's what we are going to do here. No other than Afia Drah herself, who is a PR and corporate communications professional with experience in the creative and media industry. Let me tell you a bit more about her as well. Well, she's currently the corporate communications and marketing manager at the Trust Hospital. And before the role, at Trust Hospital, she worked in television and the creative industry, producing and directing a number of groundbreaking TV programs, events, documentaries, you name it. We're talking about a few of them before the show started. Should we still talk about it? Should we still say it? Okay, we can't say it. She wants to keep it off.
Okay.
There's a lot to learn about her this morning, and I'm just encouraging all of you out there, especially you in the creative space, to please pay attention to the conversation this morning. And you can also ask questions as well. PR in the creative space, it's a big deal. If you're welcome to the show.
Thank you,
Well,
Jay. Can I
before
call you Jay?
Yes, please. Jay is fine. Yes. Before we even get into the link between PR creatives, how it works, let's understand in itself what PR in itself is.
Okay, so this morning I was thinking about something. So if somebody said, okay, let me just use PR market so that you understand. So he can tell me that if I'm a very good lover.
Cyril can tell you that.
Yes, if I'm a very good, I just want to use a very simple. Cyril can tell me if I'm a very good lover.
Our fans don't like that.
Then Miss.
I don't know why
that's marketing.
Yeah.
And then Miss can say, let me tell you, Cyril is an extremely good lover.
Yes,
That's
he is.
PR.
Yes, he is. Indeed. Yes, indeed.
We will sleep here.
I wish we had the
We will sleep here today.
Fresh and cute.
Fresh. You know this. You know this.
So I just want to put it plainly, that's PR, because most of the time, PR, we sort of have this theory about it, but it's just the way I explained it. The letting somebody tell your story. You can tell your story by letting somebody tell the story and say, okay, I'm telling you because I know I've experienced Cyril, and Cyril is a good lover. So that's how that's how you can explain PR.
Oh, really?
So somebody telling the story for you?
Yes.
Other than yourself?
So you can tell your story yourself, but
okay.
You can let somebody do it for you. Let's say you're an artist and you want to tell people that you're a good person. There are things that you can do to show that you're good. And it's not coming to the register. Look, I'm a very good person. Trust me. That's why you're marketing. Do you understand? But if you did a project or you embarked on a certain, let's say, a course, or somebody came to the studio and said, this music is nice. This person has done this and this and that. That's PR. You understand? But if you came to sit here and say, "Oh, I think I'm a good person. My music is good. That's you're marketing yourself."
Okay. The reason I'm confused, and the reason I'm confused is for instance, if this was a team, and on behalf of the company, a PR issues a statement, but the PR is part of the company. Are they doing it, for the company? Because I'm trying to understand, because the company by itself cannot do it. So that's what I'm trying. The company by itself cannot do it. The PR is doing it, but the PR is part of the company. Okay. In an artist's case, if Olele was an artist and Cyril is his PR, and Olele wants to issue a statement and Cyril writes it for him and Olele posts or presents it to the public. Is it still PR or something else?
That's okay. That's just the channel the person used. That's okay.
Okay.
That's okay.
But he's doing it because he's part of his team. And he's behind to do. Is that somebody is doing it for you? Part that confuses me a bit.
Yeah,
That's the part.
I think maybe I oversimplified it, but when I say somebody is doing it for you, it's not necessary. Maybe something is doing it for you. So maybe relationship. So it's not just the channel. Let's say somebody is saying it for you per se. So something is doing it for you. Something else is doing. So you're not just saying. I just want to simplify it so that it becomes, you're not just saying you're a good person, but you're doing it.
Okay. Do you understand?
Yes. We're going to bring this PR conversation into the creative space, and see and pick scenarios of various artists as well who have done good with PR or have done bad with PR. But there's a general statement that says that PR is PR, whether good or bad, it's supposed to work. Is that true? And what are the do's and don'ts of PR in itself?
So I know people say, every bad PR is good, but for me, I think that you can build a certain reputation that's very difficult to repair. I don't want to start mentioning names, but some artists, as soon as you mention their name, there's something you can attach to them, and it's irreparable. So people think that bad PR is good PR. Whatever PR we are doing, whether there's a project we are doing and we want to create mayhem about it, we want to cause commotion and do whatever about it. At the end of the day, we are still promoting what we are doing. It's irreparable. So not every PR is PR, and bad PR is not PR. What you can do is that you can have crisis and turn it around for your good. And in this world, anything happens. We have force majeure, we have things that are not in your control that will happen to your brand, whether personal brand or a company. And you can turn it around and say, okay, though this has happened, these are my values. I believe in this and this and this, and I want to make sure this doesn't happen again. But if you sit down and orchestrate the bad PR and think that it will work for you because there's a small project you're working on and you want to get a buzz about it, now the internet doesn't forget. The moment everybody mentions your name as an artist, everybody says, leave that guy. He will remove his trousers on stage.
Don't mind that. We'll talk about why it's a great issue, but we'll specify the issues later. We'll bring up instances and see how we talk more about it. No, I was actually going to talk about why it's a great, yes.
Because he wasn't even the one that came to mind when that was came mentioned. To mind? There are a lot of artists we've seen remove their trousers. Shatta Wale has done it just recently at the stadium. He did it. No, pull off his trousers, his pants.
But wait, there's art and there's performance and there's.
I thank God that the PR
we will talk about that. But are there any types, and how do you go about trying to change perception on something, when PR steps into repaint a certain impression that people have about an artist or a person in general? So,
perception is perception. Perception is in maybe recent or in time past. Perception is what I tell you is what you believe about me. But now what they see is what they believe about you. So you can't tell them I am this. And when you are doing this, then they believe I am this. What you're telling them. Perception is what they see is what they take. So, excuse me. So, if you are painting yourself yellow, you can't tell them that, I'm just painting myself yellow, I'm blue. Nobody would accept that because now they see what you're doing. So, what you have to do when it comes to perception management, you can, and I always use, you can craft your brand. People are not, you think, I always see Beyonce and I'm like, this girl is so cool. It's like, I don't think she can even hit a fly. She has this very cool,
soft, welcoming,
very,
flawless, spotless, image.
But this is crafted. I'm sure when she goes into her home and she will be throwing things at, Jay-Z and, all that. But when you see this woman, she is so gracious because that's what she wants you to believe. And that's what everybody believes about her. So how you craft your personality is what the people will believe. So you can't say that, okay, I'm this, I'm an artist, this is how I am, but inwardly, this is, I want to, I have something else that you don't know. But what you've put there is what we know. And it's difficult now managing perception because everybody's seeing you through the lens of you, what you're putting out there. So like we said, if you're a fan of insulting people, you're a fan of removing your pants, you're a fan of doing all that, everybody thinks that's how you are. Because I want to mention names, but
No. We have to give the instances so that we can understand. Because all those issues were public.
Favorite artist, Shatta. When you mentioned Shatta's name, and somebody said, "Oh, he's a very calm person." When you see him in person, it will be difficult for people to believe. Do you know why? Because he's always online insulting people. He's always online doing this. So it's difficult trying to manage the brand and the personality. So what people have done is that they put the brand before the personality. So, okay, I am a very, rowdy or whatever person, but I'm crafting my brand such that if I tell you that I am a cool, calm, collected person, you believe me. And they will do that till they die. And they have handlers who make sure they do that. They don't tweet on their own. Even if they are tweeting, it goes through processes. If their costume person is watching what they're wearing, their PR people, their managers, they're watching what they're eating. They don't make sure that they have pot bellies. So it's a lot of money and a lot of time crafting a brand so that you put a certain perception of you out there.
So how does the PR come to play to, what process does it go through when there's an issue, and how to activate the PR person or the department or the individual or the, whoever is being authorized to do that? What does it go through before any comes out, sort of, just to understand if there's a process?
So using an artist, so let's say there's a crisis. What crisis can I even use?
Well, we can pick. So should we start using the instances, for example, or we should...
Samini and Sarkodie.
Okay, let's use Samini and Sarkodie as issue, for example.
That's not even an issue.
Use a stunt. Does that fit into an issue?
Yes.
Where, for instance, we've seen people in this
space. Are you people attacking my boy like that?
Oh, no, Shatta. I was going to even use Gloria Sappho.
And, you heard stunt, no, it's Shatta.
No, I was going to use Gloria Sappho and...
the brand is good for himself.
What's his name? Master Richard. His real name is Richard...
Mickey
Osebe, who's the instance where I think they wanted to promote a movie, and then they did a stunt that they had gotten married. And there were videos or audios flying about, it's true. There was one of them granted an interview, I think two of them, to confirm that they were getting married.
Just to
promote a movie. Only for us to find out that, they weren't married, or it was just to promote a movie. In that instance, how do you come back to repair, the perception in our minds, the damage it might have done to some people who have fallen in love with the pair and things like that?
So... that's more of a marketing thing. It's more of a marketing
thing. It's not a PR thing?
No, because they are trying to promote something, and it's obviously... I want to talk about issue as in something that nearly got into a crisis situation.
That we can only use the Malcolm incident years ago.
Even with artists, I don't know who... maybe we'll go back to my man Shatta.
Okay.
So...
Foley. She's calling you.
Well, no problem.
So something like what landed them in
jail.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was self-inflicted. It was they crafted it themselves, and then eventually it ended up into a crisis situation. Maybe they didn't think that it would get there. Now, something that you thought you were pulling a stunt or you were just messing around with something, now you have a crisis on your hand. How do you do that? This is where. I think that you apologize, you say the truth, and that's what's difficult for people. If you know that what you have done is wrong, the first thing to do is apologize, and that's what people don't like.
So what is the PR supposed to do?
So advice. So for me, if I was handling these people, the first thing I'll do is, we have to go public and apologize that we messed up. So you do that to get the public buy-in, to get sympathy, to get, people to know that you're actually remorseful. That is the first thing you have to, so that's what, like the the presser before the real presser. So you come out and say, this happened, we are sorry, and you hear from us. That's the first thing you do. The second...
Okay, so you don't actually state why you did what you did, like the Kim Promise Whiskey situation.
You don't have to.
Because they came out to apologize, all right, but it looks like it backfired.
No, so what you do is you can apologize and say that we will bring you the facts later.
Okay.
So that you sit down, because if something happens, let's say, in the night, and then you need to sit with your team and do that. In the night, you can tweet. Now, tweet is all. You can tweet and say, this happened. We are sorry. We will come up with explanations. So the next day, then you sit with your team, sometimes your lawyer too, because there's always this thing with legal and PR. Because always what I would like to say and say I'm sorry, the legal person will say, if you say you are sorry, it's admission of guilt. So there's always having a legal side, legal conversation, and then the PR conversation. The legal people will always tell you not to admit. But for us as PR, if you admit, it's better for you. It's human. Yes, you people would empathize with you if you say, I did it, I'm sorry, I'm human, than saying I didn't do it. Then eventually we will end up knowing that you did it. There are photos, screenshots, and
so
that one you
get
would
ahead of it.
You would just spoil them your case. So after you've done the holding statement, we call it, then you do the presser. The presser is supposed to explain what actually happened. So this happened, we did this, we did this, we did it. Then you say you're sorry again. Then the promise. What are you going to do to make sure that this doesn't happen? And that's sometimes people leave those things from it. Promise to do this and I won't do it again. Or if you broke things or you hurt people, I promise to take care of them. I'll do this, I'll do... All those things come into it to make a full statement. And then you actually... That's when the proactive starts. Now you actually make sure that you are repairing. We call that the repair stage. So now you are repairing all the damage you did. So let's say if Shatta came back from Nsawam, he went back there and said, okay, he did a song. Yes, I went there. I've seen that people have issues with food or all that. I want to help them. I want to set up a music school there. I want to do that. Then you are repairing your reputation. But if you just come, do the holding statement, do the statements, and just fizzled out, and then the next day something else happens, then it will become a brand issue. It become a reputational issue, because that's how you are. When people mention your name, that's what will come up.
Wow.
Okay.
No, Jay, Flo.
You want to chip in, Cyril? You want to chip into this?
I want to know if a PR is a tool for brand building, or if it's a tool
for repair.
Exactly.
So in time past, we're doing reactive. We're doing reactive PR.
The Yawa should come, then we...
Yes, it's like your fire service. When something happens, they call the PR person, come and do damage control. No, but now we don't do PR like that. PR is a more proactive way. So you sit down and say, how can I tell people about me? How can I tell my story? How can I tell people I'm a good person? How can I tell people I'm a good musician? How can I tell people about my brand? So you're more proactive. You're doing things that shows who you are. You're putting yourself out there. By not, if you are just doing music, or doing acting, that one you are still doing your marketing. That's the line that people don't know. But doing something outside of your normal thing that you do. So if you're a musician, you decide that you're doing some advocacy on something. That's PR. So it's not just sitting down for something to happen and then you react to it. That one you would be in trouble every time.
Okay, guys, let's pick instances and use that so that the audience can actually relate to, this conversation a bit more, and find out whether the people that were victimized or the things happened to them did good PR around it. But before that, are there any things that have happened within our creative space that has wowed you on how they used good PR to turn it around? On anybody's issue that you realize that, look, this was good. I don't know if we've had any.
I think I remember the case of Sarkodie during the COVID era, where everybody was saying he wasn't. I remember even an interview with him. He got really furious because people had said that he didn't show concern for the people, and he was a stingy artist. And the next moment, They were donating all over Tema. I don't know if anybody remembers that.
This is Tema.
Yeah. They were donating all around Tema. So it was like, okay, people said this, that. Because in that interview, he had said that he's not one that does it for the cameras. But because the pressure was more from the fans, we had seen other celebs do some things for their community. The next moment, we saw visuals
Do you think it was coincidental?
That's what I'm saying, that at least for that conversation,
because this is Tema was him giving back to his community. So
during the COVID era, where they went to donate.
Yes, it was just giving back to the community. So I don't know if you want to maybe call that coincidental or maybe it's just
I think that's more reactive PR because people had bashed him for not giving. Now you're going to give. That's very cheesy. What if he had just gotten up one day and said, you know what, I'm going to give this thing to this
What if he was also giving and was never doing it before the cameras, like he said, and all of a sudden, because people were calling him out, it's okay, now let me do it for the camera so that you know.
Do you know why corporate, when we give things, we put the cameras there?
Tell us, because people complain about that a lot.
You see, and I'll give an example of something that we're talking about. So, MTN and Vodafone. So, MTN gave a lot of money doing CSR, building schools, doing that. But people didn't know. And the Vodafone started doing Healthline. And health is a very emotive subject. They started doing surgeries, I remember I saw one child with a broken leg in Santasi somewhere. They repaired it, and it was like, Vodafone is doing so much. One time I didn't have Vodafone. I wanted to buy Vodafone chip just to send that one CDs. One Ghana CDs to their account so I can contribute. Do you know why? They were promoting the CSR. So CSR is not just okay, let me do it, not tell anybody. It's a deliberate thing because you want people to love the brand. You want people to know you are doing something. So coming back to the story of MTN and Vodafone, so they realized that people thought that they were just collecting money, they were not doing anything
for the site.
Now they started doing Heroes of Change for people to know, and they use that as a channel to amplify the things that they have spent millions of Ghana cedis and in dollars doing CSR. They were not promoting it. So now you don't get the people, the brand affinity, and then also for tax relief. So if you're an artist and then you do all these things, you can put it together. When I know now GRA will take money from their artist money. I know these days GRA, they are very, you can use that to write off your taxes.
Wow.
Also, you can use that for, these embassies, they give grants. You can use that and say, I do this, so can you give me grants to do this? And you can show it. So it's not just like you're putting the camera in people's faces, but reporting also for audit purposes. And so all these things come together. It's not that people want to put cameras on when they are giving people one CD, they want people to see. But there are so many reasons why you need to do these things.
Is it because they are a brand? They are no longer the guys who make us dance and jam, but aside that, they are also an institution.
Yes.
And so it's a must for them to have that CSR part of their activity.
And also documented. The documenting part, the reason I'm still dwelling on is the fans do not understand. I've been on people's timelines where they say, oh, and you had to put camera on him. Why did you put camera on him? You don't, when the Bible says when you are giving one hand, don't let the other hand see. So now you're bringing that. I'm like, so it got to a point, some people would prefer giving quietly because they think that it's show off.
When I see that the Bible was written
Sarkodie
many years
is no
ago
more
in an era,
some people
fight
again. Shatawala is no more some people again. Shatawala is a brand. They all become brands.
Right.
Okay, so please, I want to find out from you. Can you just give me maybe a top 3 or top 2 music brands that have managed themselves well, that you, whether they might have flaws or not, have done a good job in putting out good PR that has helped, not reactive PR, but even work on themselves as they go. That you greatly admire.
Ochame Kwame and the family. You can see it's deliberate. You think they don't fight. You think they don't do, but it's deliberate.
What do you pick of them that makes them one of your firsts?
So they have made him a family man. So his wife, his kids are all together in what they're doing. His family supports what he's doing. That's one. Also, he's doing other courses, hepatitis. He's working with the embassies, doing other things. So so even if his music dies, his brand is not dying.
But So I want to ask that because I asked a question about good PR and bad PR. So if this is what works for Ochame Kwame, for maybe the reason why he doesn't have a fan base as maybe as large, active, for one of a better Gen Z expression, crazy as maybe a Shatta Wale audience, which works for Shatta might not work for Ochame Kwame. Maybe projecting that family brand on a Shatta doesn't work. Okay. Isn't that the PR that he's done well for himself? That
I think I also think that Shatta sometimes he goes overboard, but sometimes I think that he also has his own way of doing things.
Because I was thinking you're going to say somebody whose PR is actually very good is Shatta Wale.
Why are you shoving it down?
No, that it depends if you want to say that.
No, for
what
me,
perception that you are looking at.
I think he's not doing it well. He's not doing well when you mention his name.
When you say well, is it what defines well? What is well? Because I'm asking this question not in defense of Shatta as I love and adore him personally, but just to find out.
By the way, he's my favorite artist.
Yeah, good. So I'm saying that an example, and please, we're using Shatta as a case study, okay? So and I had to look at the camera to say it. So serial. So the person's brand carries a certain level of fan engagement. It carries a certain type of language, a certain kind of dressing. It carries a certain
let me give you
impression.
Let me tell you something
that drives, that gives people. It will surprise you, but that gives people, whether foolish or fine, confidence to be themselves. And I'll tell you why. Right now, something happened. Let me just very controversial here. Something happened recently with Papi of 5-5 and Apetus.
Yeah.
On set, on CTV, credits to CTV, on set, Papi became very vocal and very vulgar. Now, this is a Papi of, I say Papi, sorry. This is a Papi 10 years ago would have been a gentleman, dressed all very, you know how he is, very fine boy, how he comes off as, and might not expect him to get to that point. I tell you that it could be that I see Ghanaian artists getting very vocal now as a result of the stance of an artist like Shatta Wale, because he will speak what is on his mind without fear or favor and say it. He said it to Sam George. Honorable Sam George, he said it to, who hasn't he gone hard against?
You see that?
So the PR on him is that don't expect me to be kind to you when I feel you are wrong. And it works for the audience. Isn't that in itself PR?
No. So PR, you want to build relationships. You don't want to...
So PR is supposed to be only good?
No. Yeah.
You said build relationships.
Yes,
so when you sever a relationship that works for you, is it bad PR?
You see, that's
what I want to understand. Because Miss G was asking something.
Okay, so let me say. So let's say Shatta. You know how Shatta is, and then
I do.
And then you see Shatta. He goes to. You remember Malta Guinness Street Dance? He goes to Nima Mamubi. He's there with the guys. They are doing break dance. They are doing all the things they're doing. Playing cards and doing all that. He does a video of them, puts it that's PR. That's not Ochame Kwame type of PR. But that's, he's going to the people, he's with the...
So PR is anything that empowers the brand?
No, not empowered. I don't want to...
I'm asking.
No, it puts you in a good light for people to like you. Anything that you do for people...
But the people like...
Yeah, are you asking about difference between what a good PR is and a bad PR is?
No.
Is that what you're going to?
Because I think what I'm drawing from this conversation, and I have to go hard on it, is that bad PR is when you don't do a good job in reaching whether a good or bad PR.
No, you see, what he's doing...
I don't know if you get what I'm saying. My strategy, and that's not G, I'm just saying example. My strategy is to let you think me as a very evil person. So my PR is going to be centered on things that would implant that perception in your mind. Negativity, because that is my plan. That's what I intend to do. So that's what I'm saying, that wouldn't you then classify what I'm doing as a PR strategy to get me
if
to...
you lived in an environment, if you lived in an environment where that thrives, where that concept is
accepted.
It's accepted. It's okay. But if you leave, that's why context is. I mean, your environment context is also important. In the US, some of the things that Shatta is doing on social media, he can't do it. He can't say I'll kill you. He can't say I'll shoot you. He can't. Those things. You'll be. Here we are even lenient with some of the things that people do.
He hasn't said that.
Thou
shoot. But he was picked up when he did that. So the law's work.
He said you beat.
How about if you beat? But beating, I mean, Syria, haven't you said you beat?
But that's assault.
But how many people haven't you been insulted in traffic? Truck drivers haven't you insulted on the PR or the Syria brand? In your car, I don't want to mention the brand, the big brand that is sitting in, you roll the glass down and you saw somebody driving. How can you?
Lawyer Foley.
No, what I want to understand is that in me trying to achieve a certain perception for myself, be it good or bad, is that PR in a sense? Because I can only understand bad PR is if I didn't do it well to let the people understand what I think I wanted them to think of me.
How confusing me, cry.
Can we use? Let me pour hot molten lava on all of us. Let me heat up the conversation. What's happening with this bank and this guy? I won't mention the bank.
Say it. I mean, it's out there.
What's happening with the bank
First
and the guy, the national service?
You mean the glucose provider and the glucose
provider and the glucose consumer?
Yeah, man.
And the bank, what's happening?
Yeah.
Do you see the bank coming back from this?
Definitely.
Okay, so walk us through it. I know it's free consultancy you are giving them.
Free that she's giving
but,
them.
Yeah, but skeleton. Just give me the skeleton.
So
because
first of all, in every crisis situation,
my question is not answered still, but
we will answer. But in every crisis situation, you have to show that first of all they have a anti-sexual harassment policy. If they have it, they say we have the policy. What are the steps that you've taken to address these things, the allegations the lady is taking? If they are true, you come out and say, you know what, our staff did this and this. We are sorry.
So it's going to rain down. The brand
the
is
fact
going
that
to
you say you're
sacrifice
sorry.
the individual. We see it on TV. We see it with Hollywood stars where a big label or a big studio throws off a director because they don't want.
Yeah, because if you have a policy, that's one of the things that you have to show that you are against it too. If the guy goes tomorrow, then indeed you're saying that
this is a safe space, but we had one individual who breached our policy. And we are able to let you out if you breach the policy. But if your guy is still there, still working and still enjoying his salary and everything, then it means you are condoning what if indeed he did. What is been alleged that he did.
But what's of now that the allegation says that everybody at the top does same and is a known deed in the company?
Yeah, because the allegations are involving the brand
unless
a lot. But I'm not saying that
left what I was talking about. First Atlantic Bank. I don't even understand because sorry, but what I want to put to you with regards to what Cielo is saying is that in this case, we know First Atlantic Bank to be a bank that is supposed to be that has done its good. I mean, in years past, till this incident happened. So they have to revert to factory settings by doing PR that will let us see them in the light as good again. That is PR. Right?
So you're saying that
would you work?
I'm not done. I've gotten you to say yes.
You say the bank.
No, she's not saying yes.
So I told you that there's a repair strategy.
Yes.
So after a crisis, you need to deliberate.
Yeah. So I'm just saying. Yeah. So they are going to get us back to factory settings. Let us to believe who they are again.
Right.
Fine.
Wait. In the beginning.
Yeah.
What they failed to do was to tell us who they. That's why now you don't wait. You have to tell us
from the beginning.
From the beginning who you are.
That's not even my problem.
What's your problem?
As we sit here, I don't think anybody has carried a perception about First Atlantic Bank as a bank that condones sexual violence. No.
Maybe because this one came up. How do you know?
I'm saying. I mean, I'm just being. It's a bank. The last thing I'm thinking about is sexual violence. It's money. Well, so far, listen. In fact, if you ask me, anything can happen there. But so far, my money is safe. That's the perception. I'm carrying my thing. Just make sure my money is safe. Until I hear something like. I went for my money and then they're dreaming I'm one kind of thing xylophone things, then I'll raise consent. But so far as my money is there,
my question,
I'm coming to your question, please. So So they have to repair and get me back to factory settings. For me to rub it off my mind that seniors or top management at the company is engaged in stuff. Like, they have to clear. Fine. So that's who they are. They are good people working there. So they're trying to get me back to accept and believe. That is the PR process.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that what if the brand is positioned in a way that is supposed to reflect, emit, give off, radiate things that might seem aggressive and all, like you put a brand like Shatta when you mentioned, for example, and the PR is let you maintain that mindset. Isn't that PR in itself? Or must PR always be good? That's what I was trying to understand. I'm not fighting it. I'm only trying to understand because I'm ignorant.
So marketing. So you can market a brand to be an aggressive brand. You can market a brand to be a very vulgar brand. You can market a brand to be anything you want it to be. So that's marketing. But the fact that the brand, let's say it's a condom brand, the fact that it's a condom brand, which is a sexual something brand, doesn't mean that we will allow them to tweet about raping children. Do you understand what I'm saying? We would accept that they say you can wear condoms and sleep with
minors.
Children or minors. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's the difference between you can say that brand is whatever. You can even be doing sex toys, whatever. We don't care.
So then,
but the moment you start going in the direction where we pull back and say no, where you're going, we are uncomfortable with it. Then you have to know that there's a difference between marketing your brand as such and doing things that would damage the brand. Let's say brands like what?
So
something
now I'm picking the meaning of PR, and correct me if I'm wrong, that if it can create any perception so far as it doesn't touch any social vice.
Not values. There's values. There's ethical considerations. There's like ethical considerations, like you can be talking about, you can't be anti-Muslim religion, all those things are things that if you're a brand, you can't get up and be saying things about Jews, you can't be saying bad things about Muslims or Christians, all these things are things that now people are getting to know. At first, you can say that you are a Muslim brand and you can do whatever you're doing. But if you get up tomorrow and say, let's go and do this too, they are celebrating Easter. Christ, this is. Do you understand? I'm trying to be.
So, example again. Then I think I'm getting on the same page with you. So you're saying something like a security company would not tell you that they will kill thieves when they catch them.
Yes.
But they will tell you they will protect you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So far as the PR doesn't touch a social vibe, something that society frowns on, then you are working within PR margins.
I will allow that.
I'm just trying to, because the second major conversation I'm coming to is the importance of, because you see, for what I've done right now, I think that if I'm an artist and I've understood it like this, that, oh, wait a second, I need to do PR, good or bad, I need to do PR, but work within a certain margins. It's very important that I let people understand that I'm an artist that stands for peace, I'm an artist that stands for this. So I have to let people, even if I'm saying swear words in my song, understand that I will not go out of it to preach anything that would sell myself bad in the eyes of people. And in this context, bad not necessarily, bad as in, social vices I'm talking about,
but
things that would...
I find it difficult to accept what he's saying. Maybe I might be wrong. But if you're saying it in your song, you're preaching it. You might not be doing it, but you're preaching it. It means that for you, it is okay to do it. If somebody say, whatever in their song and they are comfortable with it and they are preaching to me, that it's okay to be saying that, then it means that they are telling me that I can do it, so you to do it. That's what I'm thinking. So that's why I don't agree with what you're saying. So they don't necessarily have to come and tell me in the face, say it this way. But they're preaching it through their song that I am consuming.
No, but if that's the case, how do you separate that from art?
You see, that's what he's saying. That's my problem. That
if the brand, I think what she's saying is, if the brand...
Sorry, please, we are just trying to cascade the things so that we see.
I think what she's saying is that if the brand is being marketed as a radical brand, it's edgy, it's pushing the narrative, it's on the verge of society acceptance of certain things, then it's marketed like that. But in that radicalness, right, you cannot flout the obvious laws, rules of society, whether ethical or legal or whatever. For example, my own Stoneboy, dance hall is a radical genre. It's aggressive. You have to stand your ground. Nobody can mess with you and your boys. Blah blah blah. But pulling out a gun, it goes from brand to society. So everybody has to step in. Same way, Shatawale, radical, dance hall, blah blah blah. All that. You have to be tough. You have to be aggressive. You have to be a boss. But if you come on a live and you say, "I go beat you," if you do, I go beat you. Somebody can easily go and say you've threatened them because it's now gone beyond the brand and become something that is challenging.
But Jay has moved away from that to say, what if the person is saying it, like for instance, saying it in their songs?
That's what I'm saying. That your brand, music
is within creativity.
It's within the creativity, isn't it?
So is that to say that you're trying to, and what Olele is to say, if I understand, is that that's to say that you want to stifle the person's creativity as well. But I'm also saying that if they've been able to put it, and she's here, she would have the final say. If they've been able to put it in a song, it's same as telling me directly.
Okay, so then
it's not like you're preaching.
You know what Eminem said?
Is PR best for situations or is for brand building? Like, is it a tool for situations?
Like I said, at first we're using PR for crisis and all that, but now it's for brand building. So that's what I want you to know about me. I want you to love me through my music, through the things I'm doing. So then I will do things for you to love me, for you to like me.
But isn't that deceit?
No, that's not deceit.
Because
brand building. Okay, so let's say you're building your brand. Personally, I don't like going out there. I don't like doing anything. I like to be. But if you are building a brand for yourself, you have to look the way your hair looks, the way you speak, where you go, the pictures, the type of pic. Me, I won't let you take pictures from some angle.
The people who say my this side is not my that side. That's my back side.
So that's all building the brand.
Right.
It's not deceit, but this is how I want it to. Like I use Beyonce. Every time I'm like, this woman looks very calm.
But is that not why people, like he's saying, that's why people encounter these people and say, they're nothing like what they preach or I see on social media. So again, it becomes deceit. You're lying to me that, you're a certain kind of brand. But when I encounter you, the
marketing
smiles
is
and all of the
branding is deception.
But she said it's not. So then you package yourself fine. But the personal encounter doesn't depict what you package.
That's PR extremism.
So let me use another example. So you on social, let's say Yvonne Else in social media, she looks very calm. And then somebody sees you and calls you, "Hi Yvonne," then you say, "Oh, who are you? I don't want to talk to you. Go away, take this person." Like I've forgotten who did this. Who is this person? Take this person away from me and all that. Now you have built a setup. You have to live the brand. What you have built a brand that you like people. Even if you don't like people, you have to like people. Because you can't be a celebrity and not like people. Who are you making the music for? Who are you doing the films for?
They'll tell you that was their bad day. No, sincerely, I've been with somebody, and let me just give you an example. Yeah. I flew with somebody. We did, it was a local trip, and I was shocked. We got to the airport, and somebody saw him, was hailing, "Hey!" She just looked at the person and walked past. I was shocked. And this is somebody who will come tomorrow on social media and say, "Hi, my people, I'm here for you. You can always," and you have to be nice to people. And I'm like, You see? So, like you said if he says, "I'm a nice person," it doesn't matter. But if I say, Cyril is a nice person, so it means that tomorrow, I thought this person, she's not what she's preaching.
They will believe her. They will believe her because she's saying they'll believe her. So you have to, that's why you have to live the brand.
So you're saying that when you kick off and you start, there's no turning back.
No, there's no turning back.
Hey.
There's no turning back.
You live fake life for life.
It's not fake life, but you are building a brand. You are building, this is how I want you to know me. This is how I want you to see me. There's no turning back. You can turn back when maybe
there's a crisis. Okay.
For good. Maybe but you can't say that, okay, I've decided that I don't want to be with people. I don't want to wear clothes anymore. I'm struggling to put,
Let's use fraud boys, quote unquote, who show affluence and to show all sort of things on Instagram, right? And by virtue of some grace and mercy, they give their life to Christ. They built a brand that they have big houses, they have big cars, and people have followed them. I'm gonna give an example. Hush Papi.
Yeah.
Hush Papi built a brand where everybody saw. I mean, for those who knew that Charlie, your man is doing something. But for other people, they were inspired by his hustle, right? Until the unfortunate happened, right? So a typical situation like Hush Papi, you all know is
unfortunate for who? Unfortunate for the millions of people who were robbed. When the right thing happened,
he would say it as an investment. You see it as a craft. As a
but
skill.
she just said that PR is not about talking about yourself.
That's what I'm saying. So for a brand like Hush Papi, right? He has already started. So let's just say he didn't get arrested, right? And he says that no, where he's getting to a red line where he might just get arrested. We are saying as if he didn't get arrested. For a brand like Hush Papi, are you saying there's no turning back?
No. So, he was a brand.
Well, Hush. When you mention Hush Papi, everybody, I mean, show me the dollar. Show me.
So the fact that people are influencing, and social media, people know them. Sometimes those people they don't matter in the grand scheme of things. They themselves, they don't see themselves as a brand.
Okay.
So most of these people, in the grand scheme of things, no, they don't see themselves as such.
So for them, they don't need any form of engineering whatsoever.
I don't know what was working for him, who was behind what he was doing. Okay, let me use our own Shatta Bundle. We all know Shatta Bundle doesn't have that money. Or do you believe that he has that money?
Well,
I don't know. I think he does.
Well, is the camera?
We haven't seen the financiers, so we are not for him.
Yeah, I'd like to say I don't believe.
Oh, you don't believe?
Yeah, this guy.
Because I've seen conflicting videos of him, seated on the Okada, and the next thing I know, he's owning bundles of money. So I'm not too sure.
Maybe it's humble. What, Jay? What's wrong with your eyebrow? You go do Botox. What? Something.
Shatta Bundle.
So I don't believe he has that kind of money. He's trying to build a certain brand. I can confidently say that maybe about 60% of Ghanaians don't believe him.
Okay. Is it that he hasn't done his PR well and he's left a loophole?
I don't think he has that kind of money. So you see, PR is not like living a fake life.
See, I think that's even testament to the PR.
Yes, that's
right.
That means that this in this case, it means that the guy is doing everything to show you that he has the money. But the people have gotten, and that was the next thing I was going to ask. People have gotten to a point where they are beginning to read PR meanings into everything. Okay. And so he's beginning to make PR, in my perception, look like they already know it's PR. You understand? Like, for instance, if we say something happens, say, for instance, God forbid, and I fall into something now, and they say, oh, amen, and they say, oh, I don't want to use that example, but let's say somebody hits somebody, and the person is a brand, is a car, they hit the person, they found out the person was drunk. Then they say, oh, come and do PR, I'll take care of the person, and I was in a bad situation, all of that. People who are discerning will say this is just PR. Yeah. So it's watered down for me.
So it's no longer effective like it used to be.
Exactly, because there are some people who are already reading meanings. Oh, say with their PR.
No, I'm coming. Let me take the same situation. So if this celebrity brand artist keeps drinking, this is not the first time, keeps drinking, hitting people, doing that, then it becomes a crisis issue because that's something, this is not the first time, but accidents happen to brands.
Right.
You can have an accident. You say, yes, I was a little tipsy. Everybody drinks alcohol. Not everybody.
Hey, that's how you say in your PR.
No, wait. I'm just saying that. Yes, I was a little tipsy. I didn't have a driver. You can go to jail too if
you admit that as well.
Admitting that, yeah. But you need to say that you're sorry for hitting. Accidents happen. But if this is somebody who's been drinking every day, hitting people every day, then it becomes a crisis situation for you. Do you understand?
It might not be that same person. So we've had a recurring thing. So not so maybe in the space. For instance, we used the Shatawale case when they pulled the gun. Then tomorrow another artist also pulls gun. Then he also comes to follow the same format. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't, and I'll go back to the prison and go and apologize and go and preach to them and all of that. Whoever is consuming, do you think they get convinced or they say, oh, that's what they will do? That's what I'm trying to say. Whether it is we are beginning to water down the effect of PR, that people who are consuming that know that, oh, it's PR. It's just to save face.
You can't say that. That's also perception management, because a lot of people can be doing it. It will happen to you. How do you make sure that you repair your brand, not following the scripts that everybody is going through? How do you make sure that you repair your brand? How do you make sure that you get the public trust again? And it's not a one-day wonder. It doesn't. You can't use a press release to let this go, or you can't use it one tweet. You can't use one Facebook post and think that everything. Sometimes it will take you years.
Depending on the situation.
Depending on the situation, it will take you. I don't know who.
Yeah, I was going to bring up Raquel's issue when, unfortunately, she was performing and then
somebody took a picture.
Someone took a picture beneath her underpants. And I think it's the last tag of Raquel. One of the last biggest things you can remember.
Even the Tiffany issue, the Tiffany issue
as well. Yeah,
Wiser.
Yeah, we mentioned Wiser. And I mean, I'm just thinking of how to, because if we didn't want to use First Atlantic Bank as an example and give them free PR.
You've done already.
How do we, how do you come out of something like this? What steps do you take? What are some of the things you can do around your PR to be able to let people forget about that and reset back to, again to factory settings?
Repair strategies are different. If it was something that you did yourself, or something that happened to you, like in Raquel's situation, she didn't, do it. Somebody did it to her. That you have to be deliberate in. If you did a thing yourself, you apologize. You go on to say, okay, in the next days I'll do this and this and this. If people are affected, you would pay for the healthcare or whatever happened. If you need to go to jail, you go to jail and come back. Because the law doesn't know PR. If you did something wrong and you have to go to jail, you have to go to jail. In the jail, what are your handlers doing to make sure that people still love you? Do you understand? That's more repair strategy. Whilst he's in jail, he's probably going to the mosque. He's probably
reforming.
He's even in the mosque, in the prison. He's written his SSC. In Saudi,
Mike Tyson,
like Hash Papi too, taking IT courses.
Yeah. So by the time you come if the prison would allow, you document all these things, and so people get to know that you're doing well and not. If it's rehab, you're going. Recently, I saw, is it Hama who posted one of all these things they will know that, oh, this guy is doing well now. If it's a drug problem, he's changing. He had faced the law. He's been forgiven. You come back. If you want to come back and do music and do whatever you're doing before, you come back and like you said, factory settings. Now you put up a new you.
So you tap into that.
So in a situation where Sarkodie and Samini, the issue on people feeling that Sarkodie doesn't respond to messages, especially on WhatsApp, and now a perception is being created about the brand Sarkodie that he's selfish and unresponsive unless it is in his interest. How, if you were Sarkodie's PR strategist, how would you work this out for us? Because those are private conversations.
But it's coming to the public.
Yes. So how would you have treated the subject?
After I spoke to, I watched the interview and I was like, you missed the opportunity. He missed the moment he started using we. I said, you've lost it, because people didn't say you and them. People said when we text you. So he had a good opportunity there to say, I'm sorry, I have so many things to, and mean I have so many things doing. Sometimes you can read messages and you respond the next day. You think that sometimes you even type it and you will not even press send. So he could have used I and respond to this. The moment he started saying we will look at it, I was like, oh, this guy knows.
So when you say I, we want him to be apologetic.
Yes, because Samini didn't say I sent it to his team. He said him. So it's not your team, it's not your company, your record label, whatever. It's you as a person, and it's your brand. So I would have said that. I'm sure when he was going, his handler said, "Oh, say this," and I would have said that. Look, I'm sorry if I didn't see your message, or I'm sorry I saw the message. In my bid to respond, something came up, and particularly to Samini's own, and then bloggers will get up and say, "Oh, Samini apologizes, Sarkodie apologizes to this. Sorted." If another one comes, and you have to make sure that you deliberately respond to people, because
but for the ones he's deliberately responded to, they've never come out to say that. Oh wow, guess what?
They have,
because it's of no importance to.
They have.
Now,
some
I'm
of them
not saying
have.
that. No,
but because it's not an issue, we also haven't made it an issue. If I say, "Oh, Olele, I sent him a message and he responded," no, and we got on a hook because it's not important to. But if I had said, "Olele, I sent him," he never got back to me. That's how come I released the song. That's the story.
Yeah.
So maybe many people have told us that he has.
What people would do is to do the counter reaction. So you can also tell your friends who you've responded to also start posting these things and say.
I was going to ask.
Do you understand? That's also
it's all part of the engineering.
It's all part of letting people know that that's not who you are. It's just once in a. It happens just once or twice. So other people can, but not the other way. What yesterday was happening, not trying to post negative things about the girl to sort of water down the issue. No.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
Then that's not what you have to do. But in Sarkodie's case, he could also let people who he's responded to.
So let's get practical. Sarkodie, you said he missed opportunity. So this is where we are now. You are the leader of his team. What would you do? Because now a lot of people are carrying away this thing. I want us. So can we just solve one problem and see how it is?
Let's solve another problem.
Just to add to what you're saying, because for me, I'm a bit worried about the SAC brand, and that is why I feel this conversation is important, because the perception of your brand, I'm sure, is as equally important as any other thing we talk about, right? Yeah. When Samini was speaking, he actually mentioned that he's not the only one who has suffered this. He mentioned some of your colleagues, and even some of your colleagues even, admitted and alluded to this thing. So it's like it's become one too many, right? As a brand, as an artist of such repute, okay, let's just say you are the PR consultant to the SAC, how do you repair that? Because it's become a consistent reportage.
I have a question before she jumps in to answer yours. If Sarkodie is not responding to individual messages, does that weigh in on his brand as a musician in any way? That's why he's as a musician. Is Jay-Z obliged to respond to DJ Khaled? No, and if Jay-Z doesn't if Jay-Z doesn't respond to DJ Khaled's message, does that mean Jay-Z fans should care?
No,
sometimes.
No. Hear me
well. They're trying to paint you as a snobbish person.
Because the story that's been told about Sarkodie is when he wants you for a project,
he gets you.
I'm talking about two different perspectives.
Yeah, no, I'm coming.
The perspective of other creators and other musicians wanting to work with Sarkodie is totally to the left. The engagement that Sarkodie has with his fans on his Instagram and on his Twitter is active and doing well on the right. The fans do not have that perspective of I want to do a feature with Sark and he's not minding me. The fans have a different perception of when I tweet about him, he retweets my tweet. And they love him for that. So I'm saying that the fans who are the owners of the brand.
So but they're the ones who
I just want to put that out.
What happened the conversation yesterday.
If the people, those who like Samini, those who like Sarkodie, probably also like you. So those who care that you are not responding to somebody will start seeing you as a snobbish person.
Because it was a fan who actually asked for a Samini and Sarkodie
collaboration.
Yes.
And then your man said that I've been trying, but it's not minding.
Which it is true.
So then that's where we've been able to find a way, a conversation about this. Because like she says, if I'm a fan of Samini, I'm a fan of Sarkodie, and I listen to Love Rocks, and I love Love Rocks, and now I'm looking forward, because of maybe what Sarkodie has done with Stereotype, I'm looking forward to another reggae collaboration because it's been forever, right? And then I ask Samini, he's given the opportunity to ask him a question, and Samini tells me that, forget, it's not going to happen. It's never going to happen because not one, not twice, 3 times I've sent my record, he didn't respond. You get me?
Would you say that?
She was going to help us with.
So I want to find out
should be done.
The perception.
When you're done, I have a question. Yeah. So when you're done.
So to Jay's question, first of all, he knew about that before going to the.
That's what we don't know. We don't
No,
know.
he knew about. He might have seen the tweet, but I'm not sure he knew about the interview because that one was live on air and it happened.
No, but he knew about the tweet.
Well, we can't say for sure.
Come now, if you are watching, let me know.
I think that knowing what happens,
because I don't know if he knows about it.
They will definitely ask him that. Is it okay to get in touch with? They will do that. I mean, just for respect's sake.
Oh, but he read it. He read the tweet too.
No, I'm not saying the two. I'm talking about the call, the phone call that happened in there. Yes, and usually before they'll do that, they will definitely ask you. And I'm also saying that at that instance, I don't think he would want to say. No, don't call him.
That's another story.
That's another story altogether.
I think an artist reserves the right to.
No, I didn't say he doesn't reserve the right. I'm just saying that for Sark, he would go like, I'm not doing PR for him though, but I'll say that fine, you can call him. I mean, hey.
Yeah. I would have said no.
So he's signed his mind already on what to say with regards to the issue. And I think for me, that Sark, I mean, I'm not a professional, you are, and I do stand to be corrected, but I felt like he gave the best answer for the moment. Listen, I apologize.
But she just said,
however,
he didn't.
I don't agree with everything you said.
She said he didn't.
Because there are always two sides to a story.
No, for me, the reason why I said he missed the opportunity to
what if
right the wrong is when he started using
the telephone number that Samini messaged him on.
It's not
the one that he's using.
But he should have said that.
No, that's what I'm saying. That
so all that was allowed time to do all that, to say you're saying that maybe I changed my number along the line, so I haven't even noticed that you sent the message, or I'm not even using that phone.
I don't even handle my phone.
So he had the opportunity to do all the remedies
to save all the conversation. So they ended it. That's a typical Sarkodie.
But she's saying that is not the right thing to have done as a professional.
So apparently,
that's what she said, and I just want to hear what she would rather had been done, and now that it's become like he's saying one too many. What should be the approach
now
going
because
forward?
Because you can't put private chats out there every day. That hey guys, see, I've responded to this guy today.
And you can't be exactly. And you can't be responding to everybody who says you didn't respond to my message.
I mean, first of all, I think artists should insist when they are going for interview to know what they are going to be asked. You don't want to be caught off guard. Yeah. You need to insist. If I was handling any artist, I want to know what's going to be discussed. So if you knew what was going to be discussed, you prepare yourself.
But what if typical Ghana will tell you that that woman cry, good, we don't want to do the interview. That's typical reaction.
It's because here everything is okay. You know, you go there, you are sitting there, and they ask you something.
Yeah.
And you are like
total curveball.
You know, and you would go and give an answer that would rather
make the thing worse.
And bloggers are watching, you know, just smear something, you know, on you. So that is one. And two, even if you, and I know especially journalists, those who are hardcore journalists, even if they give you the questions, they will take something that you say and ask you a follow-up that can throw you off.
Okay.
That is when you become very intelligent with your answering. Yesterday, or I don't know the day the interview, he could have used I instead of saying we. Because the moment I saw, and he kept saying we would. I'm like, no. The man Samini didn't say he sent the thing to your team. He said, I sent it to you. So now as you're sitting there, you are sitting there as a personality, as a brand, and you as a person. When people see you as a snobbish person, when people see you as somebody who is not friendly, people see you as not being helping other artists, then later your fans will start not going to your show because you are not a friendly person. You don't help other people. You don't want to deal with anybody. You are just a selfish person. So eventually that's the kind of perception people have about you. And now you have to do so many things to repair the situation. So he could have just said, I'm sorry, I apologize, I didn't see it early. When I saw it was too late to answer, or I don't handle the phone myself, or you know that as artists sometimes I was in the studio. I'm not saying he should lie, but he should have just said that
a better lie.
You see,
not a better lie, and say that I would do better,
or I'll reach out to you just after this,
and then even look into the camera or whatever and say, "Yo, Samini,
bro, holla.
let's do something," and from there you can drive to his house, drive to his studio. have a conversation.
Have cameras follow you.
You know,
can I flip the script and look at Samini's PR?
I was going to ask that. Like,
what he did with regards to
complaining
to this, openly go into details. You know,
attack.
He's 41. He says it's not. There's no time for him.
Those are the details I was talking about. Your age, the number of messages I sent to you.
Yeah, my boy.
This is my boy.
Oh, you didn't hear all of that?
This is radio. This is public speaking. This is your on air. You're speaking to the world.
National
when you are done with Samini and Sarkodie.
So I want to find out about that bit as well. If you were Samini's manager or PR person, would you have advised that?
What's this guy's name? What's his name?
Who's that?
Be a way for him to go around.
No, Tony Pan doesn't manage him.
Tony and I used to fight every day.
I don't know what George does for him, but I think George Quay is in charge of a lot of things at Samini. I don't know whether his company just
I think it's BTLs. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, BTL engagements for Samini.
I think artists and celebrities should be very strategic in the things they tweet. Me, I can't tweet anything. Well, I can't tweet anything, but I can. Nobody cares about me, but there are a lot of people that cares about them. It's not everything that you have to respond. It's not everything that you have to put details on. He could have just said, "Oh yeah, we will do something," and tag him and say, "Yo, they are saying we should do something. Let's do something." And
that would have been a lie.
No, you see, that's not a lie. But you also don't want to put... There are some people who were also put off by what he also did, flipping the coin. They think that...
Big man, why they do this?
They think that he also spoke too much. And when you do, what is this plenty things you're saying? You know, if you have an issue with him, why don't you deal with it than use somebody's tweet to settle your score? That's also the other side. So knowing when to say, how to say, what's... The amount of things you say is also important.
Somebody said to me yesterday, I'm lying, I said to myself, in PR, that, okay, do I feel Samini is complaining about everything too much? Because the last footprint I remember was him at the toll booth. You know, it was another
the entrance.
the Legon. I think another thing happened again.
Just recently, he was also mad that some of his fans were fighting and they were tailoring that energy into pushing his brand. You know, and I think I also had some reservation about things
that in itself as well.
I also think they are not handling social media very well. When Samini was Samini, there was no Twitter.
That's what he said.
Yes. So if you look at Reggie and this boy on Twitter,
I would have ideas.
Yeah, I'm like, Reggie, stop. You know, he thinks that, and he even types in capital letters. You know, so I think that some of them, they are not handling it well, not because because they don't know, and they think that it's
just another app.
Yes. But if they are deliberate, and they don't have, I'm not saying they are broke, but I'm saying that they don't have the resources to hire people, professionals to do these things for them, because most of them are not doing a lot of music these days. You know, and it's expensive trying to have a lot of people around you just to pay them, and nothing is happening. So I think that they should probably take a step back. Now they have younger people doing social media management. Then you can have somebody, it doesn't have to be a full-time person. You can have a friend who knows PR, who knows comms. When you want to say something, you text it to the person. We all do text the person, say, Charlie, this thing I want to do. What do you think? You know, and then let somebody else also have an account, log into your account, so they can delete for you. They can.
Case in point, Burna Boy versus Shatawale.
The label
I want to use myself as an example. And I want to ask, because just recently I met up with shouts to Dela Glanu, and we're having a conversation about some things that have happened. But I want to revisit it because of how he said, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that." You know, so I actually honorably resigned the company. Then almost a year after, I see that she was sacked, and me, I don't have chills. I don't know PR. I know that's me. I won't lie to you. So I also went ballistic and I said, nobody sacks me. I work out when I want to work out. And that was my friend's problem. He says, anybody who's reading will say, this girl is so arrogant. Like, she's so full of herself. But also for me, it was an affirmation of, I know my worth in this space I find myself. I have a track record that precedes me. So how do you juxtapose or say this is pride and this is you being assertive? In PR language
Ghana,
or whatever.
In Africa, everybody, we like saying pride too much. When people need to say the thing, they say, you are too proud. When people need to say the right, they are too known. We like say, people elsewhere don't think about age, don't think about whether you're a woman or a man. I think that we put too much emphasis on these things, and it's not going well for us. Recently, somebody was saying she's going to stop saying please. And I realized it's true. Everything we are saying, please. So there's a society where we legitimize this. We encourage people to be timid. We encourage, you are a woman on your own rights. You are not sacked. Yes, it's also good to put it out there, because your next employer will be looking at that. Because if you are sacked, something happened. So that one is false information. You need to put it out there. The how, we will talk about it. But you need to put it out there. I wasn't sacked. The how, we can't talk about it, but we need to put it out. And it's not, and sometimes we don't let it get too cold. If it's today, you need to put the record straight that I wasn't sacked. Sometimes delaying the response too. That's why you do if it's like a big crisis, you do the first one, the holding statement before the actual statement. But when you delay too much too. Oh boy.
So we are running out.
Just because of what Michi said. So at what point would you say silence is golden? Or is
let me add to what you're saying. The same thing I'm asking.
When your girlfriend or boyfriend.
When you don't have the facts, like the bank issue, have they issued a statement?
No, that's what I wanted to ask. I wanted to get your take on that before you be pound.
Okay, so
as I'm talking to you, I'm on Twitter. It's trending number 1 this morning at 8,000 tweets and mentions. Okay, that's not easy for a bank to be trending and for the wrong reason. But they've been silent since this
2 days ago.
is going.
Okay, so
and every WhatsApp group is sending screenshots and whatever.
I know. There's a legal side to this. I'm sure their legal people, their PR people are sitting in the room by now. And so you also need to hold on a little, because you don't know what happened. They need to get a fact. If they come to say something and they can't delete it, screenshots will be there. So they need to make sure, but at least they can acknowledge that they've seen these things.
Right.
2 days, I think, is enough.
You mentioned something, a
holding statement.
Exactly. So there's no holding till now.
We have seen.
So you want to hold them?
Wow. Is that right? Oh wow, really?
Yeah. We'll be right back. Is this what's happening? Oh wow. We'll be right back.
Don't go away.
Oh no, you also notice that whoever is handling the GTV account now has no chills. Like, I don't know what is it working for you?
It's not working. It's a national team. It's not some something.com.
I don't think that they need to use that to come out of a very dark hole.
The stereotypical thing that we've done with them. I mean, it's an oldies TV.
Because we are loving GTV's handle account on Facebook.
They are making it too personal. They are making it too personal.
Over-humanizing it.
Yeah. So if you say bro chill, those things. No. GTV is not.
But I don't expect my mom to go and watch GTV's handle on Facebook.
As a BBC. So they're the same level as BBC. They're the same level as Please, they're the same level as BBC.
I understand, but
no, please.
Hello.
So you need to watch the language. You need to watch things like bro chill and all those things. It's not working for me.
Our time is up. We have been but so good morning to GTV's handler. Whoever's doing it, we'll see.
Oh, you know the person?
No, I don't know the person, but I don't know. There's something about it. But Afia Drah, thank you so very much for joining us this morning. I think we've been enlightened on a lot of things that we've taken. A lot of us in the creatives have taken for granted, and I think now we have a clear direction as to what to do to help build our brands, and you've used Beyonce as a very clear example, a very spotless, clean, brand. Even when she went through the whole surrogate, moment, I think now surrogate thing has now become a thing, and all that, a very good brand building. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. You're back here again tomorrow, same time from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., but still keep it locked on 3 Music and plus 89.9 FM. My name is Jay, CEO Miss G, and Olile. We are.